we have some shocking information I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So a former prosecutor who wanted to get Trump, he was left with no choice but to plead the Fifth Amendment. Okay. Mark Pomerantz, he once oversaw the Manhattan DA's investigation into former President Donald Trump. But when he sat down to answer a few questions, he was left speechless. In fact, to plead the Fifth, it means that you don't want to incriminate yourself. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're guilty, but it means that you don't want to incriminate yourself. Now, it is a move to try and protect someone from potential harm that could be caused by their testimony. Okay. But here's the problem, guys. Some of these questions that were asked of Pomerantz, they were very, very specific. Okay. Meaning that, it would have been very easy to answer them with a simple yes or no. Now, I'm going to let you guys hear exactly what was said, but here's what the experts are taking from this deposition. Okay. They're saying that he's playing it safe. All right. Answering almost everything with the Fifth Amendment. And he was even asked about DA Alvin Bragg, and he ended up choosing to plead the Fifth. Now, if you plead the Fifth in a court case, there's generally a real good reason why you're doing that. Okay. Now, before we get into this, guys, all I ask is that you take 1 second, hit the like button for the video. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for always sharing these videos on Facebook and Twitter. We got Revolution is near in the house. We've got Keenan Ripon. Good morning. Nana's Crochet Corner. Good morning from Oklahoma. All right. We've got Sit Pretty Baby. Evil always expose itself. Good morning, Ronnie. Hey, what's going on? Good morning, Mike Osborne. We got Billy Hale. Okay. So answering most of these questions with the Fifth Amendment response, it's almost a giveaway. But you're going to be blown away when you actually hear this. So he was even asked about DA Alvin Bragg. And when asked about DA Alvin Bragg, he chose to plead the Fifth. I swear, guys, this is very, very telling. OK, now, if you were not a corrupt person, being asked if you're a corrupt person would lead to a simple no. Right. If you're not a corrupt person and they're asking you if you're corrupt, what do you answer? No. But if you are corrupt, do you plead the Fifth because you're afraid to perjure yourself by saying no? That's a question I'm going to leave for you guys. But this is not the case here. Now, I do want you guys to note that when Pomerantz answers these questions, okay, when Pomerantz answers these questions, he's pleading the Fifth every time here, every single time. And this is the deposition that was recently released, but it was actually performed last May. Take a listen.
Under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question, sir.
So he starts off by saying, under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question, sir. Okay.
Under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question, sir. Privilege against self-incrimination.
And did you knowingly break any laws?
He follows up by saying, this is a privilege of self-incrimination. Okay.
Under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question, sir. Privilege against self-incrimination.
And
I'm sorry, privilege against self-incrimination.
Under the advice of counsel, I'm not going to answer that question, sir. Privilege against self-incrimination.
And did you knowingly break any laws when investigating President Trump?
Objection. Same response.
Did you break any laws when you worked at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office?
Objection. Same response.
Mr. Pomerantz, did you violate any person's constitutional rights when you worked on the Trump investigation?
Objection. I have the same response to your question.
Mr. Pomerantz, did you violate any person's constitutional rights while you worked at the Manhattan DA's office?
Objection. Same answer.
Did you misuse any federal funds while investigating President Trump?
Same response.
Did you misuse any federal funds while you were working in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office?
Same response.
And did you violate any New York State bar rules while you were investigating President Trump?
Objection. Same response.
Did you violate any New York State bar rules while you were working in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office?
Objection. Same response.
And did you violate any canons of legal ethics when you were investigating President Trump?
Objection. Same response.
Did you ever violate any canons of legal ethics while you worked at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office?
Objection. The same response.
Wow, guys. Wow. What do you have to hide when using that number, that many Fifth Amendment responses? Like, what's really going on here, right? Now, if I asked you if I were to ask you if you misused federal funds, wouldn't it be better to just say no? Because that's going to rub people the wrong way. By refusing to answer questions related to possible corruption, you open up the possibility that you were corrupt or possibly corrupt while in office, that you misused federal funds just to go after former President Trump. And that, that's what a lot of analysts right now are saying. This is what analysts are saying, who are legal analysts who are listening to this testimony. This is what they're saying. Pomerantz has nowhere to go. In fact, answering truthfully would have landed him in even hotter waters, if you know what I mean. Now, this means that it is possible that he violated legal ethics while investigating Trump. It is quite possible that DA Alvin Bragg's case, which was designed to take down Donald Trump, ends up taking down fellow prosecutors, including possibly himself. This could be one of the greatest backfires in the history of this country within the legal system, guys. And so this is big. It looks like he may have actually broken laws while working with the Manhattan DA's office. Now, of course, we can't confirm because he pled the Fifth, and we won't know at this point. But that he did so for a fact. He did definitely plead the Fifth on some very pointed questions. All right. Now you have to wonder, what if this was Trump? What if Trump did this with his cases? You know what I mean? In other words, what if Donald Trump pleaded the Fifth for every single question he was asked? Do you think Democrats would say that it's fair? Or do you think instead Democrats would call him guilty for doing such a thing, for Donald Trump pleading the Fifth? You see what I'm saying? Now, again, this is just a possibility. But if your conscience is clear and you know within yourself that you did nothing wrong, it would be pretty much easy to say no for some or all of these questions, right? Like, it's almost like he's not going to answer any questions in this testimony, in this trial here. But what really stands out here, guys, and Janet Thomas says that this is explosive. It really is. It really is. This is unbelievably telling. Now, let me ask you guys. You heard the testimony here from Mark Pomerantz. With that number of Fifth Amendment pleas against very specifically pointed questions, do you think that Pomerantz is guilty? Or do you think he's innocent? Just comment down below. Let me know where you guys stand on this, because by pleading the Fifth, again, this is a means, this is a law that you can use to protect yourself from admonishment of guilt. You can protect yourself from self-incrimination using the Fifth Amendment, right? But it sure is interesting how frequently he pled the Fifth on very, very simple questions that are unbelievably pointed. What do you have to hide here, sir, is my question. Oh, wow. The comments are flooding with guilty. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. Now, what stands out here besides Pomerantz pleading the Fifth here is his opening statement. All right. His opening statement, he's basically saying that the deposition is all for show, adding that it only happened because Donald Trump's supporters would likely use these proceedings to attempt to obstruct and undermine the criminal case that's pending against him, and to harass and to intimidate and discredit anyone who investigates or charges him. Now, this could explain why he pled the fifth the entire, 5-6 hours of this deposition, roughly. I don't know exactly how long this thing was, but it's just kind of weird that he wasn't open to talking a little bit more about this, given the fact that he had just released a book called The People versus Donald Trump. Rather interesting. So in Mark Pomerantz's book, People versus Donald Trump, and this is exactly what it is. It's these people against Donald Trump, right? So in his book details his work investigating Donald Trump's alleged financial crimes as a special prosecutor, right? So what do you think? Like, what's the difference between writing a book that anybody can read and a deposition? That's the real question here. I mean, you were willing to write a book, profit off of this. I'm assuming he profited. Maybe he didn't. I'm not sure how much he's making on these books. But generally speaking, authors of books, typically bestsellers and whatnot, they're making some good money. And typically the goal is to make money. Now, I'm not sure if this was an entrepreneurial venture for him. But anyway, the book is out there. Now, GOP Representative Matt Gaetz has called Donald Trump's hush money trial a sham. And he went on and added that this deposition from Pomerantz only amplified the idea. I mean, is this a sham, guys? Like, if it looks like a sham, walks like a sham, smells like a sham, might be a sham. Now, he went on and added that this deposition from Pomerantz only amplified this concept that this might be a sham, right? Now, we also have we got to remember that Pomerantz, he quit as a special assistant to the DA back in February 2022. So what's that? A little over 2 years ago. Now, this was actually fueled by the reported fallout between Alvin Bragg, because, with Alvin Bragg, I should say, because he was slow to act on the indictment against Trump related to his business practices. Rather interesting. You know what I'm saying here? So this also begs the question, is Pomerantz simply doing this out of spite? Okay. Is he doing this out of spite? Because it seems as if Bragg had nothing to charge against Donald Trump back then. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, the only difference is that Trump is now running for 2024 presidential elections. Now, experts from both sides of the aisle, they're arguing if this could actually be considered as election interference. Now, I think you guys already know what the deal is. Is this election interference or not? Right? And much like what AG Letitia James and DA Fannie Willis and special counsel Jack Smith are doing, they're all doing the same thing here, guys. They're all doing the same thing. And there's no legitimacy here. There's no legitimacy. They're wasting taxpayer dollars trying to try Donald Trump for crimes that don't even exist. In this particular case, Alvin Bragg won't even tell you what the crime is. I don't even understand how you can bring a case to a New York City court without even identifying what the crime is. Like, why are we here, sir? Why are you wasting the court's time? This is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable level of corruption here. So anyway, so Bragg on his end, he upgraded Donald Trump's misdemeanor to a felony. Meanwhile, he's downgrading felonies to misdemeanors all over the city of New York. But for Donald Trump, he did the exact opposite of what he has patterned to be doing while being the DA of New York City. Bragg has upgraded Donald Trump's misdemeanor to a felony for no other reason that he's Donald J. Trump, right? And when asked why he did this, the text pretty much explains itself. It says that Trump falsified business records with the intent to with the intent to commit another crime and aid and conceal the commission thereof. And that's where we are right now. This is exactly where we are right now, guys. That other crime. What is the other crime? I mean, you gotta think that with all of this being said and done, right? Bragg would have at least told us what the crime was by now, right? But in a briefing last year, Alvin Bragg was very condescending as, he was asked about this other crime, as if that's a dumb question, right? And when asked why the indictment doesn't even specify what the other crime is that they're talking about, the DA answered, DA Alvin Bragg, he essentially said that it's not there because the law does not require it to be specified. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. So first of all, the law, that's a dumb law. Why would a law not specify that the crime that you're trying to charge someone with be specified? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. And so that's the biggest problem with Bragg right now. This is the biggest problem. This guy is humiliating himself on a daily basis with this here, right? And he's got Trump right where he wants him. He does. He's got Trump right where he wants him, on trial. But the crime is still unclear to many people. I don't think the crime is even clear to Alvin Bragg himself. So, the jury probably, included this in a group of people. Legal experts, they've said that it's not a crime for the non-disclosure of an alleged affair. In other words, affairs in and of themselves are morally horrible, but they're not illegal, number one. And the payment for not talking about it or non-disclosure of an alleged affair, that's not illegal either. And it's also not a federal election offense to pay money as a personal or a legal expense, which is what Donald Trump did. He paid his attorney at the time, who was Michael Cohen. Donald Trump paid Michael Cohen for legal advice, legal counsel. Michael Cohen has been an attorney for a number of years and has provided legal counsel and services for many people beyond Donald Trump. So it's not like Donald Trump is the only person that Michael Cohen was an attorney or a lawyer for. This is what he did. This is what he did. Now, Donald Trump admits that Michael Cohen wasn't a very good attorney for him, but nevertheless, it's a legitimate expense. It's a business expense that he listed as legal expenses. If he spent $130,000 on Michael Cohen's legal expenses for legal counsel, it is what it is, right? So now it's also worth noting that the statutes of limitations for this case, in this particular case, we're talking about misdemeanors, right? So the statute of limitations in this particular case is misdemeanors, which include falsifying documents. They've already expired, guys. These things are old. These are very old. In fact, this is why it's being called a sham. I mean, we've never, ever seen a case where a dead misdemeanor from 2016 was brought back as a felony right around the 2024 presidential elections. This has never happened before. I'm trying to say something other than unprecedented because I say unprecedented like 40 times a day. So I'm just going to say this has just never happened before. A federal election that includes the political rival of the incumbent president. And oddly enough, that rival has multiple cases going on during the campaign period of the presidential election. So do you guys think that this is a coincidence? Now, me personally, I don't believe in coincidences. I do not believe in coincidences because, it's really difficult to just kind of cover a story where even you and I are in the dark about what crime DA Alvin Bragg is even talking about here. Meanwhile, crime continues to hit New York residents, fearing for their safety, women getting punched in the face, people getting pushed in front of subway trains. But instead, you got Alvin Bragg upgrading Donald Trump's 2016 allegations from a misdemeanor to a felony. This is where New York taxpayer dollars are going. And this is why New Yorkers are pissed. This is why so many people are leaving New York. This is why Kevin O'Leary was like, man, I'm done. Kevin O'Leary, Grant Cardone, they're not looking to invest in New York anymore. New York is a dead state to them. Kevin O'Leary said that, he's not interested in investing in New York real estate development. He considers New York now to be a flyover state. Yeah. And the same goes for, Attorney General Letitia James. I mean, you got to wonder if does Bragg have his priorities straight as a district attorney? Does he? Do you guys think Alvin Bragg has his priorities straight as a district attorney? And the same goes for Attorney General Letitia James. What do you guys think about all this? But let me see what you guys are saying in the comments, because I know you guys are fired up in here, as I typically see from you guys. Sarah Marie, appreciate the love this morning. Thank you so much, love, for the $10 super chat. God bless you. Sarah Marie says, good morning, Ron. God bless. I appreciate the support here on the channel. Thank you so much, Sarah Marie. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Debbie Swindle says Stormy Daniels never said the affair. Excuse me. Stormy Daniels said affair never happened. I heard that too. I heard a lot of conflicting statements from Stormy Daniels, but that was actually one of them. Mighty R1, Ron, do you ever sleep? No, I don't. Let's see. Beautifully inappropriate. Most definitely not got their priorities straight. Oh man, Mark Hill, love you too, man. Appreciate you. Lorraine Perez, the Lord of Hosts, is exposing everything. How many of y'all think everything's getting exposed now? It's wild. Hey, if you guys did not check out my last live regarding the elections ballot, the election ballot exposure, and how this Wisconsin elections employee was jailed. She was found guilty. Man, I don't want to give away too much. Check that video out, because this is exactly what Donald Trump had been talking about. He was talking about how the election was rigged. He was saying how there were fake ballots. My last live explains everything, and it exposes how big of a cover-up this is. It's much bigger than any of us ever thought. Anyway, make sure to check out that live right after this one. Anthony Jimenez, thank you so much, my man, for the $1.99 super chat this morning. Totally appreciate you. Oh, man. It's all coming out in the wash. It's all coming out in the wash. Marantha 1777 says election interference. I mean, it is what it is here, guys. And there's so many of you guys here who are saying that the gentleman pleading the fifth 100 times is 100% guilty. Wow. Appreciate your feedback in the comments, you guys. You guys are absolutely, absolutely amazing. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for rocking with me this morning. Sorry about that. I was reading one of the comments. I just want to thank you guys so much for rocking with me today. If you haven't already, do hit the like button for the video. Totally appreciate you guys. Make sure to share this video on Facebook and Twitter. If you like the content, if you like the conversation, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe. And happy Friday. Happy Friday.